everyone, and thank you for watching my video. This video is about Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith is a concept in astrology, and by knowing what Black Moon Lilith is for us, based on your birth time, your birth data, it gives you some really deep, profound insight and information about what our gifts are, what our talents are, the parts of us where we go really, really deep. The parts of us where we don't want to compromise. The part of us where we take off running, we take off sprinting, and we keep going, and we'll go and go and go until we burn out. But the catch with Black Moon Lilith is that it's an all or none type of thing. And usually when we access these gifts, or we go down this rabbit hole, or we go down this long, intense path, it usually comes with some type of consequence, some type of problem, some type of really, really strong feelings that are, attached to this whole thing. That's why it's difficult to access. That's why it's in our blind side. It's kind of like one of those things that, no, I don't want to open that door, because if I open that door, it's going to be just something that I'm not ready to deal with right now behind that door. Even though I know whatever's behind that door is really, really powerful, but I'm not ready. I'm not willing to deal with that right now. Black Moon Lilith kind of represents this part of us, and I can't explain this in one paragraph or 1 minute like I'm trying to do right now. So I'm making the entire video to kind of lay it out, and I'll hit some other points, and this will make more and more sense as the video goes on. So here's how the video is going to be broken down. I'll start off by giving a little deeper explanation of what Black Moon Lilith is and what it represents. And then I'll provide you with a visual representation of what Black Moon Lilith is in astrology. I'll show you the planet, the orientation in space-time, how it actually looks, so that you have a deeper understanding of what this is and what it means. And then from there, I'm going to provide you information on how to find out how Black Moon Lilith was oriented at your time of birth. It's real easy. It takes about 1 minute to look this stuff up on the internet. It's real easy to do. And then from there, I'm going to provide you with some really general interpretations of each of the 12 signs, based on the information that you got from the other website. I'm going to give you really general interpretations of each of the 12 signs, and really general interpretations of each of the 12 houses. For each of us, it's going to be oriented in one sign and one house. And I'll provide you with information on what that means. And then from there, I'm going to provide you with an explanation about my own personal information. I know myself really well, so by telling you what I found in myself, I think it'll bring this to life more for you and make it make more sense for you. And then lastly, I'm going to share with you a biblical story, some mythology, an allegory, however you want to, whatever category you want to put this in. And it's about Lilith, and it's a story about Lilith and it gives you insight into it's an actual real story, and it gives you insight of what Lilith is and how Lilith is represented and hidden within all of us. So let's get started with the video. Alright, so let's talk a little bit more about Black Moon Lilith, what Black Moon Lilith is, and what it represents before we go any deeper into the video and get into the interpretations and all of that. Now, Black Moon Lilith is a part of us where we go really, really deep and we don't compromise. It's a part of us that maybe when other people see us behaving in this type of way, or acting, speaking, whatever it is for you, they may see you as some type of outlier, outcast, or someone that's doing something socially inappropriate, or something that's way beyond the norm. And with this, for you, it's something that you want to be expressed freely, and you don't want to be questioned about it. But no one will let you live that way for yourself. Everyone has this in a certain part of their life, and it's kind of like the part of us that acts out in a manner that's on the edge of the etiquette within our culture or our society. So it's kind of hard to accept. Just because something is on the outside or on the edge of what's accepted doesn't make it right or wrong. But whatever the case is for you, it's difficult. It's not generally accepted, so it's kind of tough for it to be free and for it to have its own life and breathe its own life. And for you see it as a gift. So you're thinking, like, why do I have to hide my gift? And you grow resentful that you have to hide your gift from the world. It's like, hey, I have this gift, I have this talent, and I can't show it to anyone. So, with knowing that, and you knowing that this is the situation, you tend to really, really binge and let this gift, let this behavior free in a really huge way. You purge it and just let it go. And then it becomes some big embarrassment, some big stink, some big, it could become a really big mess. And then you have to clean it up. And after you clean it up, you vow to not let it free again. But, it's a cycle. So, it's, hey, I have a gift. Why do I have to hide my gift? And then you let it free again. The same thing happens over and over. It's a cycle where you do something really in a huge, big, gross way. You set it free, and then you feel guilty about it. You clean it up, and then the resentment grows again, and then you let it go. It's a cycle. So, this is what Black Moon Lilith is for us. It's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift. But it's a gift that's possibly not realized by most other people for whatever reason. And for each of us, we have to figure out how we have to take something that we have that's special, that no one else may understand, and lay it out and put it out in the world where it can work, for us, and possibly where it can work for everyone else. Sometimes you're left alone and you have to just do the best you can on your own. You have to just everyone has to walk their own way and figure their own thing out. So, okay, I could go on and on and on about this, but I'll stop here with that. And now I'm going to show you a visual representation of what Black Moon Lilith is in astrology. I'm going to show you, this is basically moon astrology. Before I start specifically talking about Black Moon Lilith, how about I give a little overview of astrology? I'll be brief. Now, of course, we're surrounded by the 12 signs. And at the time of your birth, whichever sign that the sun eclipsed from the earth is the main energy and the main sense of purpose that you get in this lifetime. Now, as for the moon circles the earth, and whichever sign the moon eclipsed at your time of birth is the main internal energy, internal drive that you get and keep throughout the rest of this lifetime. Take a look at this illustration. It shows the Earth going around the sun in what looks like a perfect circle. But in reality, it's not a perfect circle. It's an elliptical orbit. Now, look at the Earth. Look at the orbit of the moon around the Earth. That orbit is more accurate. It's an elliptical orbit, an egg shape. So here's another illustration of the moon's elliptical orbit around the Earth. Now, as you can see, the Earth is closer on one side to the orbit, and that's called the perigee. Now, if you look on the other side, the orbit is further, and this is called the lunar apogee. Now, the lunar apogee is where Black Moon Lilith is. It's where it resides, and this is the point that we're talking about here. This is what Black Moon Lilith is physically. So the Earth is moving around the sun, and the moon is moving around the Earth, and the moon's orbit around the Earth, it rotates too. It rotates in a circle. And apogee and perigee, it points in at different signs as it rotates. And at our time of birth, this orientation reveals to us, the direction of where Black Moon Lilith will be, the apogee of the circle. The direction that the apogee points is the sign that Black Moon Lilith will be in for you, and also the house. Hey, so we're ready to go. How about we get started now? I need you to go to a website, put in your birth time information, and find out your sign and the house that Black Moon Lilith was in at your time of birth. A website that I recommend is really easy. It should take like 30 seconds actually. The name of it is astrostyle.com. 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 And I recommend this website because the other websites that I went to, they only give you the sign, but they don't give you the house. Astrostyle.com gives you the sign and the house. And going forward into the rest of this video, after you'll have your sign in your house, you can just go to the comment section, and I'll have the houses and the signs time stamped, so you can go to see and find out your own information individually, so you don't have to waste any time. So how about we get started? Let's find out about the deepest reaches of our psyche, our subconscious, or the part of us that's either super rebellious or super courageous, etc. So let's go. So I guess you all have gotten your information and you're ready to go. So you've gone to the website and you know which house and which sign that Black Moon Lilith is in for you. Now I'm going to give you an interpretation of each sign and each house for Black Moon Lilith. And in general here, the sign, by knowing which sign Black Moon Lilith is in, it tells you how the part of your personality where this shows up, where it's likely to show up. And a lot of this is really general. And then the house tells you the part of your life where it's likely to manifest the most. And keep in mind that this is astrology, so this is just one piece of a whole puzzle. You can't give this too much weight. You have to keep it all in perspective. You can't just focus on one part of astrology. It's a small piece of a really big picture, but every piece is really important. If you have Lilith in Aries, then this will likely show up in how you express yourself, your personality, the way you assert yourself, make decisions, the way you take action on things. I'll read this to you. Lilith in Aries has felt that asserting themselves and making executive-centered decisions, self-centered decisions, is selfish or otherwise wrong. They may have felt shame for displaying self-centered traits, for taking the lead without asking, or for making self-centered choices. They may feel wary of people expressing Aries traits, largely because they are shocked at how they can do so without apology. There can be some fear of taking the lead, asserting oneself, and making executive decisions, but a simultaneous desire to do so, which can lead to extreme of behaviors in these areas. Learning to accept these traits in themselves is the key. This can also apply to Lilith in the first house. So Black Moon Lilith in the first house. So the first house is about your passion, how you express yourself, your physical body, things like this. I'll read this to you. It'll give you a good overview of Black Moon Lilith in the first house and what it's all about and what it does here. Everything is dominated by the impulse, passions, and the electric energy. That energy is born from every new action, desire, and through itself. Here, everything is now or never. Blind force, a brutal indulgence in challenges that is often devastating. Black Moon in the first house is the art to learn to achieve a balance between stand up for yourself and listen to others. Lilith in Aries is completely dominated by impulse. It is brutally competitive and independent. When crossed, Lilith can be dangerous. As a karmic duty, people born with this placement must learn to control their extreme passions. More insight into this Black Moon can drastically change your life in a positive sense. With more attention to the desires of others, the dominance and uncertainty will tend to go away. At her best, Lilith in the first house is a fearless leader. If you have Lilith in Taurus, then this will likely show up in how you deal with life's pleasures and how you deal with money and how you view money and how you view the pleasures of life. I'll read this to you. Lilith in Taurus has felt shame for self-indulgence, not sharing, holding on to possessions too tightly, and for themselves without apology. They feel guilty or wrong for doing these things, which can lead to all sorts of behaviors, whether it's about hoarding, purging, or in between these extremes, but feeling ashamed for indulging oneself or getting comfortable. They may have a hard time feeling truly satisfied or sated, but can also fear the state of wanting. Perhaps they were punished in some manner for being slow, savoring things, or enjoying and indulging themselves. This can also apply to Lilith in the second house. Black Moon Lilith in the second house. So what's the second house all about? The second house is all about possessions, money, indulging in your senses, all of your senses. I'll read this to you to give you a good idea of how this works. Black Moon Lilith in the second house. Evident things are ambiguity between pleasure and its rejection, poverty and greed without limits. Lilith here is like a goddess of sensuality that knows the long-forgotten rhymes of the universe here. Lilith emphasizes the characteristics of Taurus. In other words, Lilith brings strongly attachments to possessions. Money and matter mean certain security. This is one of the most natural positions of Lilith. It influences with sensuality and too much pleasure in youth, so it almost always brings unwanted pregnancies to women. It brings genital problems for men. On the emotional area, it brings the need of feeling safe. This means automatically that it brings fear of renewal and change. This can also apply to Lilith in Taurus. If you have Lilith in Gemini, this will likely show up in how you deal with people, your social skills, your curiosity, your intelligence, the way you express this. I'll read this to you. Lilith and Gemini has felt shame for speaking too much or too little, or for their intelligence or social skills. They may be wary of people who seem to be indulgent in these ways, who are social butterflies, or who talk too much, or who seem to want to flaunt their intelligence. Their curiosity may have been stifled in some manner, and they can fear not being considered smart. They can be wicked with what they say when angry. Shame in these areas can lead to extreme behaviors and a feeling of being out of control. Working on self-acceptance is the key to empowerment. This can also apply to Lilith in the third house. So, Black Moon Lilith in the third house. So what does the third house represent? The third house represents things like people skills, education, communication. I'll read this to you to give you a general idea of how Lilith operates in the third house. Here we go. Ambiguous communication, fascination with ambiguity and shadows, the search for identity. Lilith in third house is never satisfied. It is curious, superficial, and unnecessarily skeptical. In third house, Lilith brings petty and childish behavior. Also, she brings mood swings. On the dark side, Lilith in third house, promiscuity can trigger discord and arguments. Karmic duty for people with Lilith in the third house is to better communicate and steer away from gossip. At her best, Lilith in third house has an exceptionally brilliant mind. Lilith in the third house can open by communicating the soul through truthful conversations, writing, or telepathy. This can apply to Lilith in Gemini also. If you have Lilith in Cancer, this will likely show up in how you become attached to people. It could also show up in your home life, your physical home, the type of physical home that you choose to live in, or that you actually live in. I'll read this to you. Lilith in Cancer has felt ashamed for being needy or dependent for whatever reason, and feels awkward or even angry with people who display these traits without apology. Their nurturing nature was stifled in some way, and they can feel very uncomfortable asking for help and or expressing their nurturing nature as a result. This discomfort can lead to extreme behaviors in this area and then misgivings afterwards. And then the cycle continues. Working on self-acceptance is the key to empowerment. This can also apply to Lilith in the fourth house. Black Moon Lilith in the fourth house. So what does the fourth house represent? The fourth house represents themes like love and attachment, home life. I'll read this to you to give you a good overview of how Lilith acts in the fourth house. Ambivalence between love and absorption, fear of a castrating mother. In this sign, Lilith claims freedom. Here, we meet a diversion from traditions. Also, Lilith brings liberation from the traditional female role: children, kitchen, church. Family will be the test to overcome. One of the biggest challenges will be to examine past family ties. In some cases, Lilith in the fourth house involves delays in having children. The relationship of the person with mother is very important. The mother will sooner or later, through her actions, words, hurt the person. That will make one vulnerable and dangerous for anyone who betrays one's love and dedication. This is the reason men lose their faith to women early on. This can also apply to Lilith in Cancer. This is the end of part 1. This video will continue on in a part 2, so I'll see you there.